Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching another video. So today I want to show you how easy it is to sharpen just about any knife on the Work Sharp Precision Adjust Elite Knife Sharpener, even if you've never ever sharpened a knife in your entire life. It'll take all that guesswork out of trying to know what angle to hold the knife when you're sharpening on a stone like this. This takes all the guesswork out. Let's have a closer look. And as always, guys, if at the ending of the video you want to purchase a Precision Adjust Elite Knife Sharpener from WorkSharp, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Inside of the carry case, you're only going to have to worry about 4 components. Let's unpack it. So on the very top, we're going to see the sharpening rods, and depending on what model you get, you may have just 1, but the Elite has 3, and we'll have a closer look at these later on. And then you just have the base, which looks like that. The clamp that holds onto the blades or your knives, and then you have the sharpening tower. Let's have a look at these. All right, let's have a look at the base here. When you're sharpening, the WorkSharp logo will be facing you like this. On the bottom, we have 4 rubber feet that make it grippy on most surfaces so it doesn't slide around. And you can see here we got some slots here for the tower to fit in. To remove the tower, you're just going to pull back on that, and that's how you remove it. Here's the tower. You can see the tab here that's on the back, and here is the front. So to install the tower into the base, what I would do is just turn it sideways like this, rock it in backwards first, and then just set it in like this. Then to remove the tower, you're just going to pull back on this lever and pull on the tower going forward. So you're going to pull back and then pull forward. Alright, let's take a quick tour around the sharpening tower, and the first thing you're going to notice on the top is the adjustment knob. This is how you're going to select what degree angle you're going to be sharpening at. So if I want 15 degrees, I'll take that arrow and place it here, or if I want to do 17 degrees, I'll just come across to this side and add on 2, because those are the single increments, and now I have 17 degrees. Most knives are between 15 and 20 degrees. Alright, the odds are you're not going to know what angle your blade is currently at. I mean, you could look it up on the internet, but who knows if that's going to be accurate. So the best way that I know how to check the angle on your blade is you get a permanent marker and you just mark the edge with the permanent marker, just like that. And then you're just going to pick the finest grit stone, which is the 800, and you're just going to run it over the top of the edge and see how close it is. And then you'll know exactly how to adjust. So I'm just going to run it down. And that should be enough to mark it. And as we can see here, just about perfect. Now, let's say you don't want to maintain the angle, but you want to reset it, right? So maybe it was down somewhere around 15 or whatever. You just set it to where you want to go, let's say 20. And then you're going to start grinding away with the most coarse stone. Go all the way around, of course, until you hit the leather strop. And then you have reset that angle. Alright, the tower has 2 magnets that hold in very important pieces. So the first magnet is right here. And that holds in your sharpening rod. So that portion right here just installs right in here like that. Alright, and then to uninstall it, you can just push it down. And it removes itself very easily. Second magnet is in here. There's another one on the clamp here. And it just fits in just like that. And that thing, it ain't going nowhere. Now, just a quick heads up, there is a reference stripe right here. And it's important that it stays there, because when you start sharpening, your knife handle is going to be on this side. And you're going to rotate the whole thing around this way. And to rotate it, there's a button in the back like this. You're going to push it in so you can rotate this entire claw around. And it only rotates in this direction. Okay, so it's important that that stripe be facing upwards so you can rotate the whole claw around. Now, if you don't feel like rotating the whole thing around, you can always just take off this thing and then flip it around and do it that way. So there's 2 ways to get that done. All right, let's have a closer look at these sharpening rods here. And the holder actually has space for 1 more. All right, but the Elite comes with these. So again, you're only going to use this one if your knife is in bad condition or if you're trying to reset the angle. So there's a 220, there's a 320. And then a 400 on this side, right? Nice little handle for sliding it back and forth for sharpening. These are your adjustment collars. So you just move these up and down depending on how far away it is when you put it into the tower and the base. So again, only for removing a lot of metal. Most of us, if our knives are in good condition, we can get by on this one here. This has a 600, 800, and then a ceramic honing stone here. All right, and then the last one is a strop on here. So this is a leather strop, and you can see the green compound on here. And this one actually has a honing rod for serrated edges. So if you have a serrated knife, let's say these are the serrations, you would just kind of rub it in the serrations to knock down the burrs on there and make it sharp again. All right, let me get you a close-up of the sharpening rod. So this is the portion that sticks into the magnet. And as you can see here, it's basically just like a ball joint. So it swivels around to accommodate your sharpening motion. If you're wondering how these lock into place, it's a triangular design. Here, let me remove this. Yeah, this just slides off like this. So these grooves lock into this portion on top so that it stays flat when you're sharpening. And if you're wondering, these are replaceable. So if you wear these out, you would just purchase a new set, come in here, pry these out. They're just stuck on here with adhesive, and you have brand new stones. All right, so this is a really old paring knife from my mom's original kitchen set. And it's not horribly dull. I mean, it'll still cut through some newspaper like this, so it's not too bad, but you can see it's kind of jagged. So what I'm going to do is start on the 220 and work my way up and see how sharp I can get this old knife. All right, so here is a close-up of the clamp. All right, we can see that there's these rubber inserts to grab onto the spine of the blade. And right now it's super tight, so I'm just going to back it off to loosen it up a little bit. Now the goal is to get the spine right in this V area. And it's not totally going to fit in there because there's a slight slant in there, but I'm going to try to get it right on the middle. Okay, open this up a little bit. Put that maybe like right here. That should be about right. And I'm going to just pinch down and see how that's a little bit off. I want to get it to be kind of like that. Just use this as a guide. And that should be about right. And I'm going to tighten it down. And that's about right. And if you're wondering how big of a knife you can put in here, they say that it can support up to a 3/16 spine in there. Now that's pretty big. I'm never going to own anything that big. But if you do, just remember, you pretty much want to get a good grip on the base, because something with that thick of a spine is going to want to tip over to the front a little bit. But they say that this can handle a 3/16 spine. One last thing about the clamp, these rubber inserts need to have something in between them in storage so they don't rot away, and that's why you don't throw away this card. So you just put this back in here for storage, clamp it up, and you'll be all set. And if you lose it, you can just use like an old playing card or something cardboard. You just want to make sure that there's something separating the two rubber pieces on the clamp. What's really nice about this clip design here is not only is it rotatable, but let's say this was a little bit crooked, like you're over it and you can see it's a little bit off. You still have access to this adjustment knob so you can adjust it without taking the whole thing out again. So let me check my angle. I'm going to try 17. Right, okay, that looks about right. And I'm going to start off with the 220. All right, I got the sharpening rod installed, and if I start like this, we can see here that I'm not going to have the full usage of the stone here, and that's because I got to adjust these rubber collars up here. So I got to slide this one up and this bottom one down. That way I can get the full stroke of the stone. One last thing before getting started. As you are working your way up to the finer grits, remember, when you hit the strop, only go downwards. Your goal is to break off the burr, switch the knife to the other side, go down and break off the burr again. If you go back up, you're going to ruin your leather strop. So remember, when you get to the leather strop, just go down. Alright, I got my rubber collars adjusted for maximum stone stroke length, and all I'm going to do is grab it by this tab here and go back and forth like this. Now I'm starting off with the 220. It's going to make the most horrific sound ever, but hopefully by the time I get up to the leather strop, I'll have a nice polished edge, and this should cut like crazy. So let's begin. I'm just going to grab the base like this. Light pressure. Oh my God. Pretty much just like that. I'll see you guys in a few seconds. Alright, I just got done with the 400 stone, about to move on to the next rod. But before doing that, I just want to point out that Have something underneath the sharpener to catch all the shavings, especially when you're at the bottom grit here, because it removes a lot of metal quickly. And also, don't feel like you gotta keep the sharpener at this angle. You can kind of tilt it a little bit if you need to get a little bit more comfortable. Just be mindful as to how you're doing your strokes. All right, let's move on to the next rod. All right, before putting the knife back on the clamp, I thought I'd give you guys a close-up of what that edge looks like. You can see there at that 400 grit, still a little scratchy. Still a little scratchy. We'll keep working it. All right, just got done with the leather strop. And remember, in this step, you only want to go downwards. Your goal is to take that burr, break it off to the other side, flip the knife over, and break that burr off again. Your knife is going to be so sharp at this point that if you go back and forth like this, that up motion is going to tear up your leather strop. So remember, just downward. Let's have a look at the edge. All right, well, there we go. We can see that a lot less scratchy, finer scratches, and a nice polish on that. Okay, nice polish. Let's give it a test. Okay. Yeah, you can see it just glides through there now. Just glides straight through. Before it was kind of snagging. Now it's just a nice smooth cut. Yeah, take that Valentine's Day. Oh, I could do this all day. That's a sharp edge. Well, alright guys, there you have it. Just 4 components. You got the base, the tower, the clamp, and a bunch of sharpening rods. That's all you need to get a wicked sharp edge on just about any knife that you have around the house. Well, alright guys, that's the ending of the review. Remember, if you want to purchase the Work Sharp Precision Adjust Elite Knife Sharpener, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.